I'm Isabel Proto-Martir, and you can follow along with my food adventures on Instagram at Isabelissima.
I'm David Leftwich, editor of Edible Houston and associate editor at Houston Food Finder.
I'm Eric Sandler, editor for Culture Map.
The Full Menu is a production of Houston Public Media with support from Central Market.
You know, David, it's so funny that right as we were walking to record this segment, we checked in here at the studio and the woman at the desk said, "Hey, what's a place that we could go for a 50th birthday dinner?"
Wow.
And I said, how funny that you should ask, because that is the exact subject that we have been tasked with today is birthdays, anniversaries, special occasion restaurants.
Who set that up? That's so good.
All right. Well, Isabel, I know you have a birthday coming up. Happy
I
Scorpio
do.
season.
Thank you so much. It's a very, very important time of year, obviously.
So what are some of the criteria that you think about when trying to pick a restaurant for a special occasion like a birthday or an anniversary?
Okay, so my answer for birthdays is very culturally charged because since I was a kid, noodles. Noodles are an absolute must for birthdays because they symbolize long life, good health, prosperity. So anywhere with really good noodles.
Okay. David, what about you?
Well, birthdays, mine tend to be, I mean, there's, when I think about birthdays, there can be the big group birthdays, which I usually don't, at a personal level, do. But it's usually family oriented. So it's, it's where I would like to go, like with myself, my daughter, like family members, a few close friends. So it can be, someplace that's accommodate a group between 4 and 8 at max, but it really just depends, and it's usually someplace that is somebody's favorite or that a cuisine that somebody really likes, like whatever.
I will say that is one of the things that always surprises me is when someone's like, I want to try a new restaurant for my birthday. I do not understand that. I want to go to my favorite restaurant on my birthday. I want someplace where I know I'm going to like everything, where I'm happy. That's always a criteria for me. And then of course, it should be someplace where they make you feel special, right? Like whether it doesn't have to be the fanciest restaurant in Houston, although I have a few of those to talk about. But you should feel special because you want to be celebrated on your birthday. Should we get into it, Isabel? You want to throw out the first restaurant?
Yeah. So this is a place you and I have been, Eric. So I had to mention. I was thinking of the longest noodle that I could think of because long life, good luck. We need all the things. Heidi Lau in Katy Asiantown. It's just a fun experience too. They do this noodle pool dance tableside. And I mean, who doesn't want some kind of exciting theatric performance on your birthday, especially for you?
Well, I'm going to steal one that I know is on Eric's list, but he can chime in, is Blue Dorn. And they just do an excellent job of, it's a great special occasion place, whether it's an anniversary. I mean, you don't want a big group. This is going to be 2 to 4 people.
No, I've gotten a Blue Dorn with 6 and 8 before.
Right.
They have some of those larger format entrees. Like right now they're doing a dry-aged duck that's very easy to share. They do big steaks that are pretty easy to share. And they have all those cool small plates. So you can really kind of make a meal out of that. Big trays of oysters, right? Like if you're going to celebrate, if you're really going to blow it out, a seafood tower, they're very adept at that. And they understand the service side of it, right?
Yes.
When you walk in the door,
1,000%.
From maybe not the valet, but everyone from the receptionist to your server to the managers, they're all going to come by. They're going to wish you a happy birthday. They're going to you can have the baked Alaska at the end. Who doesn't like, as Aaron Blue Dorn once said to me, who doesn't like flaming ice cream cake?
Yeah, and that's one of those places where, if you're doing the reservation, they say special occasion, that's a place where you definitely mark it and they do notice.
Another place that I think is really good at making people feel special on their birthdays is Brasserie 19. This is a place where people go, they get a little dressed up. The food is very approachable. It's kind of classically French. And then at the end of the night, they bring out the giant cotton candy with a sparkler in it, and everybody looks at you, and you're the center of attention for that 2 minutes. I
think that's really special.
Yeah, I think they make you feel really special.
Okay, I'm taking notes for my birthday because that wasn't on my list, but maybe it should be. Just going back to the experiences and just doing something fun and interactive and special. It's another hot pot one, but I haven't been. Shabu En is a very luxe hot pot contender that's come into Houston recently. And they do A5 Wagyu, uni, a la carte, and it's just the hot pot experience, but 10 times leveled up. So maybe you can get a little dressed up for that too, I'm sure.
Well, I'm going to break Eric's rule when he says something about like not going in my own rule, talking about going someplace that's not necessarily new, but this is new because it just opened, the new chopping block location. Only because it's such a warm and inviting place. You know, it's new, but it also feels very like homey, and then the food is excellent, and you know, they now have a full bar, which is very good. And you know, we just I've already been a couple of times, and it's just a warm and inviting place, and seems like very celebratory in its kind of way it's set up. In a way, it's hard to explain, but I think that would be a great place to go for dinner, or if you're like it's a business lunch and you want to take something, they are open for lunch, and
Let
if you want to
someone
go,
take you to lunch.
yeah, if you know, like you want your work people to take you to lunch, there's just something about it that's very warm and inviting and celebratory, both in the food and in the environment there.
You mentioned a New Montrose restaurant. I'm also going to mention a New Montrose restaurant that I've been to a couple of times. This is Drake's Hollywood. It's got a kind of a retro Hollywood vibe, red leather booths and these wild murals on the wall of different stars from different eras. And, you know, it's kind of a fun, I think it's kind of a fun game. You kind of look at these portraits and you're like, who is that? Like, is that Stevie Wonder? Is that Little Richard? You know, you're trying to kind of, you know, figure out all these people. And then, you know, again, like the servers are kind of dressed up, and they have a kind of a presence about them. And then the menu is really diverse. There's some seafood, there's some steaks. It's all very classic American fare, but it's very well executed. And then once you're inside, it's a very lively atmosphere. Again, everybody's dressed up. Everybody's there to have a good time. They tout their incredibly cold martinis, and so you know you start with a martini and maybe a little seafood, and then you kind of ease into a steak, and then again, like another place that does the sparklers with the cotton candy at the end of the night. So, you know, I did this recently with a friend for her birthday, and we had a fantastic time.
So in that same vein, the Marigold Club kind of sticks out as well. I celebrated a friend and colleague there. We bumped into you that day. You're everywhere, Eric. It was such a good time. We went there just for drinks and snacks, and because we had dinner plans at Blue Dorn after. And they just made us feel so special, and the vibe that they created, and they've just nailed this, like transforming you into a different era, different, you know, just something extra special for your birthday.
Well, we've been talking about like slightly, you know, fancier places or nicer places. But I was also thinking about, you know, also sometimes for birthday, you want some place where you can go with, you know, a big group of people, maybe 10 or 15. And, you know, we have in Houston a lot of great patio bars and stuff. So I wanted to throw out, too, that I think I've been to birthday events at both, and that's Axelrad, because, you know, it's just a great classic Houston patio bar. You can get, you know, they have pop-up food there, but you can just also go get pizzas at Luigi's and bring it over.
Really great music, too.
Yeah, so it's, you know, and I've been to more than one fun birthday celebration there with, you know, big groups of people. And the other one is St. Arnold's Beer Garden. It's just you know, again, a fun environment. You get a view of downtown. You can, you know, you got pizza, you've got beer, you've got burgers. Again, you can have a big group of people when the weather's nice. So it's, I think, another fun place.
Yeah, I love those.
If you want a bigger group setting where you want, you know, 10, 15 people, oftentimes if you call ahead, you can set aside some stuff and set something up.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned big groups, because they're, you know, one of the things that you need a big group for is the Chinese seafood feast.
Oh, yes.
And
that's on my list, too.
I thought it might be. And there's a couple of places that really come to mind for this, right? Like, obviously, the classic answer is Fung's Kitchen.
Yeah.
And they've had a bit of a social media resurgence these last couple of months.
I respect it.
They have a new dish called the Lobster Mountain. It's like 6 fried lobsters, like stacked up.
Literally a mountain of lobsters.
Yeah. Literally.
And French fries.
Yeah, and not for a ton of money. You know, I think it's about like $150, which again, it's a lot of, like, it's lobster. It's a lot of lobster. It's really nicely cooked.
And I think what's really important is that when you're accommodating big groups like this, they have a lazy Susan in the middle of the table. Like, that is a key to like a successful big dinner.
Yes. It's much easier to distribute food when the table rotates.
Exactly.
And then the other one, of course, is Hai Kang on the west end of Bel Air.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you're going for the shrimp with scrambled eggs. You're going for those funky little
The
like
stuffed crab. I mean, it's incredible. I mean,
all the lobster, the garlic lobster. Like, I mean, there's so many great dishes
and
there.
just when you walk in, you see the tanks of like seafood that look like they're from a dinosaur time of the dinosaurs.
Yeah, and
it's
also
like, wait, I'm gonna eat this? Yes, you are, and you're really gonna enjoy it.
and they're both BYOB. So if you have a favorite
True.
wine, you save a little money that way.
Yeah. So birthdays are a really good opportunity to make people do exactly what you want. And that, a lot of the times when you're like planning dinners or stuff with people, you kind of have to accommodate for like, okay, what's close to everybody? What's, in the city that's accessible? No, I'm going to make everyone drive southwest, Alief, Texas, of course, to Aga's because you cannot go wrong. You cannot go wrong. Not only is the food incredible, it's Indo-Pakistani food that is just done so beautifully and so well. They're also they've nailed their hospitality.
Yeah, that Aga's was on my list. And again, it's a place,
so good.
You can accommodate if you just wanted 2 people to large
See, I
groups.
don't think Aga's makes sense with 2 people. There's too many things I want to.
it
There's
is
too
a
many things I want to eat
feast.
there.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a good.
Like 6, 8, 10.
Yeah.
That's the group to go to Aga's with.
Yes. And what better time to go than your birthday?
Well, since we have been talking about big groups, I was going to narrow it down to something a little more intimate, where if you wanted to go to a special birthday for 2 people or an anniversary, and you plan ahead, is Tetemo. If you want a really nice, it's the food is excellent. It's a tasty menu. It's kind of dark. It's just a really nice place. And if you want to do a special occasion for 2, I think that, and you are smart enough to plan ahead.
Yeah.
You do need a reservation.
They have that one dish that I think reoccurs where it's like, it looks like it's just a tortilla over something.
Yeah, the enmolada.
So it's kind of like a gift that's wrapped just for you, and you cut into it, and it is just the best birthday surprise you could ask for, I'm sure.
All right. Well, obviously, Tetemo has been on the James Beard finalist list for a couple of years. So let me talk about another James Beard Award winner, which is Street to Kitchen. They recently expanded their dining room to add basically a private dining room with a separate menu. And I know that Chef G is doing like a Thai steak feast that requires a bit of a group or like an advanced reservation. So I have not had this yet, but I've seen the pictures and I want to try it. And so like whether it's for my birthday or just because it's Tuesday, one of these days I'm going to round up a group and we're going to go eat steak at Street to Kitchen.
Just throwing it back. I love an experience. I love being able to sit there for hours and drink and eat and cook with my friends. And I know cooking your own food when you're celebrating isn't for everyone. Eric is saying not for him. But I love it. That is my love language. And so Korean barbecue. I love Korean barbecue. I love getting a bucket of beer and soju and getting a little bit drunk and just eating so much food. So like Hongdae 33 is one that I really love. I also work with them, I have to say, but I do love them. And then you could do it a little bit nicer as well. There's some upscale Korean barbecue places where you could treat yourself a little more, but it's just
if you go to Bori, they cook for you.
Oh, that's true.
So thoughtful
Okay,
of them.
all right. I don't know if they have buckets of soju and beer, but
Well, I think one place that you can accommodate is good for all kinds of celebratory things. And I think Josephine's Gulf Coast tradition. I mean, their food there is really good. They've got patio. They've got good seating for any size group. And there's like, for the most part, you're going to find something there that's going to make everybody happy. And the food is just really good. Mm-hmm. It's homey, but it's fancy all at the same time. And again, I've had a couple of we went there we did a Father's Day celebration for my dad there. We've done some other celebratory meals there, and they're good service. It just and plus just good food.
All right. My last one from me, I want to talk about a restaurant that has served generations of Houstonians when they're looking to go for a special occasion. And yes, I'm talking about Taste of Texas, the steakhouse in West Houston. You know, there's just something about that giant dining room loaded with Texas history artifacts. You get to pick your own steak. You get to go through the
special.
You get to go through the salad bar. You know, this is a restaurant. It makes so many people happy every day. And I know that if we didn't mention Taste of Texas, that people are going to be shouting at their radio. So, West Houston, I hear you. I validate you. Celebrate a Taste of Texas.
That's a good one. I'm Isabel Proto-Martir, and you can follow along with my food adventures on Instagram at Isabelissima.
I'm David Leftwich, editor of Edible Houston and associate editor at Houston Food Finder.
I'm Eric Sandler, editor for Culture Map, and you're listening to Houston Matters with Craig Cohen.